My overall objective is to improve medical education, specifically around how doctors think. Can we use AI, and in particular large language model, to augment the education around clinical reasoning and the education of the diagnostic process? Can I develop a screen-based simulation, or candidly like a video game, to teach how clinicians think and to break down the process in a way that makes a lot of sense to learners, but also enables educators to get all the data they need to then identify areas of strength, of weakness, areas of growth for the learners on the thinking process. For example, that learner is very good at getting information from the patient, but maybe needs to grow a little bit more on how to synthesize the data. That learner is very good at synthesizing data, but is struggling at finding or prioritizing different hypotheses for the patient's problem. I created a case simulation on, let's say, appendicitis. It's been played by 10,000 students of multiple levels. This is a lot of data, a lot of big data that I can use to phenotype and extract insights that are otherwise hard to obtain without machine learning. And so that started a research program. Can GPT reason? Is it accurate? Is it sound? And there I used the framework that I developed for an EJM healer to test GPT-4 and evaluate it. Then the second is it accurate? Is it safe? And then the third aim is, how can we develop and test AI-driven approaches to improve clinical reasoning? And what we found is that GPT-4 expresses clinical reasoning. What I mean by that, it means that it summarizes patient information, it defines the clinical problem, it develops a differential diagnosis, and then it justifies its differential diagnosis by comparing and contrasting the diseases as well, if not better, as attending physicians. The same way that we assess an activity of a learner and make an entrustment decision and use these entrustment decisions to then graduate a learner and say, okay, I trust them to move on to the next stage, we can be using a similar framework to assess AI tools. And I think this is something we should be embracing and studying and carefully implementing in a really rigorous, structured, and evidence-based manner. What I'd like to see the work I've engaged with go is toward really setting the ground for additional work on developing AI-driven assessment tools, AI-driven coaching tools, and AI-driven tutoring tools, both to empower educators and learners when they're using these tools, but also to help the developers adjust when they need to.